about the VVPAT. I want to explain to you what it is. The VVPAT is the device that you see there in the middle. Technically, it is connected between the control unit and the ballot unit. But in terms of where it is placed within the polling station, it is placed just below the ballot unit in the ballot booth. In other words, when you get behind the ballot booth, where you were expected to cast your vote in secrecy, obviously, is where you find the VVPAT device. The VVPAT stands for Voter Verified Paper Audit Trail, VVPAT in short, okay? So what it does, as the name denotes, voter verified, what it does is that at the point of casting your vote as a voter, you have the ability to confirm your vote physically. Why? How? Because once you do your selection, either for your party or your candidate, and you confirm your vote, at the button, at the red, I'm just using a different EVM model for illustration purposes, but in our case, our EVM has got a register button right at the bottom, the red button. So you do your selection, and you register your vote. Once you register your vote, the VVPAT device that you see in the middle there will print a slip. This slip is visible through a glass opening. It stays there for 7 seconds, and then it cuts. It falls into like a ballot box that you can see right at the bottom there. So that is the VVPAT concept, Voter Verified Paper Audit Trail. What is our general view as the Electoral Commission about the VVPAT? We want it. We like it. Why? Because it makes sense, it enhances transparency and openness, and it gives peace of mind to the voter, because you have a physical verification of your vote through the printed receipt that it produces at the end of the voting process. But we have told our stakeholders, the Namibian nation, that based on what we have seen, the VVPATs are manufactured in India. We are saying that based on the prototypes that we have seen, we were not happy with the errors and the mistakes that we observed. We said that we must behave like a responsible election management body. And with the errors and problems that we have seen, with the versions that we have seen, it would be irresponsible for us to roll out that technology in our electoral process. What are some of these errors I'm talking about here? We have seen instances where when the voter makes their selection, they make their selection, the VVPAT device would not communicate to the EVM because this is technology. When you deploy technology, these kinds of breaches are bound to happen. It would simply not communicate to the EVM. We have seen instances from what we have seen where when the voter pressed the button, the relevant button, and cast their vote, the VVPAT device, a paper jam occurs. Any technology that utilizes a printing mechanism is prone to a paper jam. The printer in your office, on your desk, how many paper jams have you gone through? Quite a number. When you look at the conditions under which we run our elections, under trees and what have you, which are more or less similar to India in some respects, these things are bound to happen. We have seen instances where the voter will cast their vote, no problem. The VVPAT prints, and for one or the other reason, this voter just decide to cause some drama to say that no, the slip that was printed is not the button that I pressed. How will the Electoral Commission, or anybody for that matter, verify that? By that time, the printed slip, the slip would already be amongst the other slips in that ballot booth, sorry, in the ballot box at the bottom there. So there are issues. Now, in terms of the paper jams, if that occurs, Because a paper jam in your office, on your desk, and a paper jam at a polling station of this nature, I think it presents a different dilemma in relation to protecting the secrecy of the vote. You have a paper jam, the presiding officer must come, the party agent must come, oh, this guy, he tried to vote for this candidate, these sort of things. So we have carefully analyzed and understood some of these things that we've seen. We've asked ourselves, even the margin of error, when you take India, the case of India, India has got a voting population of more than 500 million voters. If 10,000 VVPATs malfunctions, it's just a drop in the ocean in the Indian experience. If a similar number of VVPATs happens here in Namibia, what could be some of the repercussions in terms of the integrity of our process? So, colleagues, there are things that we have taken into account, and based on what we have seen, we've been trying to be responsible. We've said that no, it is perhaps not a good thing to do, in as much as we like it, in as much as it is being demanded for. It's probably not the right time to roll out this technology. Let's monitor the situation closely. Let's see other versions in India so that we can have all the facts on the table and make a decision going forward. Now, let me talk about paper trail. I have carefully listened to pronouncements and statements in the media, especially by political party leaders. You see, sometimes politicians can say a lot of things. Unfortunately, some of us don't have that luxury to say a lot of things. But clearly, ladies and gentlemen, some of the things that have been said, in my view, stems from a position of lack of knowledge and understanding of these systems. And I understand that because they are technical in nature. People can understand these things differently. But people, I've been hearing people saying that, no, these EVMs don't have a paper trail. There's no paper trail here. We want the VVPAT. People mixing up these concepts. There's a difference. The VVPAT is what we're talking about here. But I can tell you now, colleagues, that our EVMs in their current format, if the results of a particular EVM are disputed for one or the other reason, any competent court in this country can order the Electoral Commission to produce a paper trail from that EVM. And these scenarios could happen. I can give you the example of my village, for example, or your village, wherever. If, because we count the votes and we announce polling station results right there, so that everybody that voted there can see and hear. And I know that people somehow know the voting patterns in their villages and all these kinds of things. So for a good reason, you might have people say that, no, I can't believe that the people in this area who voted at this polling station really had voted for that party or that candidate. Let's dispute this result. Let's have a case in the court. The court can command the Electoral Commission, can order the commission, produce a paper trail from this machine here. So in this particular case, we can command the EVMs in its current format to produce a paper trail. This paper trail gives a clear account, okay, of all the votes that were cast, either for the candidate or for the party, depending on the type of election we are running. So that is the kind of paper trail that we can produce. I can tell you also that each electronic voting machine processes a maximum of 2,000 votes. If maximum 2,000 votes voted on a particular EVM, the court orders the Electoral Commission, we can give that print, we can run it, so that people can clearly see the first voter who voted on this machine voted for this party. The second one voted for this candidate, whatever the election we are running. So the EVMs have a paper trail capability. I just want to state this on the record. Okay, let me move to the